Gogi, look at the odds, right? If you had, because we've got two competing fight cards on HBO as well as Showtime, right? One is Richard Schaefer, Ringstar Sports. His very first fight, or his very first fight card since returning to the sport of boxing as a promoter with Ringstar Sports. He's going to be it's going to be a fight card at the Galen Center at USC on the campus. In your main event of the evening, it's Cuellar versus Mares, Gogi. That's Jesus Cuellar versus Abner Mares for Cuellar's WBA regular featherweight title, right? In the co-main event of the evening, Jermall Charlo versus Julian Williams for Charlo's IBF junior middleweight title. Those are two. Now, if you look at the betting odds for those two fights, right? Both of those fights are considered pick'em fights. Yeah. Right? Cuellar is a slight betting favorite at a -170. Abner Mares is the slight betting underdog at +145. That's pretty much a pick'em fight. That's an even money fight. And you look at the odds on Williams versus Charlo, it's even closer. Jermall Charlo is the slight betting favorite at -125. J-Rock is the slight betting underdog at +105. That is the definition of an even money fight, right? Now let's look at Terrence Crawford versus John Molina Jr. in your main event of the evening on HBO. Terrence Crawford is a 32-1 betting favorite over tough John Molina Jr. Do you agree with that? Is that about right?
Absolutely.
And that's going to be for TC's WBO and WBC 140-pound championships. In the co-main event, in my opinion, Gogi, this could be the sleeper fight of the evening. Raimundo Beltran versus last-minute replacement for the injured Juan Diaz, Mason Menard from Louisiana. Raimundo Beltran is a slight betting favorite, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Menard actually won this fight. This is going to be a great all-action fight at 135 pounds. So, Gogi, out of those four fights, which one do you actually want to discuss first? Because we don't need a lengthy technical breakdown of any of these matchups. All we want is your prediction and how you see the fight playing out, right? So which one do you want to start off with first, my friend?
The fight that I think is going to be a barn burner, but is not being hyped or publicized or promoted, right, is that Charlo Julian Williams, okay? This is a very, very evenly matched fight. This kid Williams, man, he's been waiting a long time. He's been very patient to get his shot at the opportunity, unlike other owl fighters who were spoon-fed and nurtured and coddled and given a red carpet treatment to get their title, their belts. This kid, he's got to earn it by fighting the legit champion. Man, this reminds me of an old school world title fight back in the old days. When I got into this business, where the best fought the best to become champion. Okay, not like some of them Al Heyman fighters, where they setup. I call them setup champions, where they had it. They picked all the right opponents. They got all the right wins. They made all the right maneuvers to avoid certain fighters they know they couldn't beat. Then all of a sudden, you know what I mean, Joe? They gave a BS interim title or something like that to fight for. Then when the real champion vacated, they elevated the guy. You know what I'm talking about, Joe, man. It's a scam. It's a scam nowadays. These fucking clowns, man, nowadays, how they get belts, man. No, it's a joke, man. This is not different. This is different. You got a kid, Williams, who I've been following, for a few years, dedicated, hungry. A guy that, he's a true professional to his craft. Him and his coach, Stephen Edwards, Bredman. And he's going against, one of the, top junior middleweights out there. The IBF champion, Jermall Charlo, who's also very talented and physical, who can hit with that right hand, who's also got a great trainer in them, in Ronnie Shields. Okay, hey, this is an evenly matched fight, Joe, and this is what boxing used to be like. Okay, where we're legit fighters, we're fighting legit champions for the belt, not like all you see all this shit nowadays in boxing. Oh God, Adrian Broner fighting that one guy for the WBA belt. Give me a
Adrian Granados. Yeah.
Not Adrian Granados, the one before that. That other guy.
You're talking about the one that
Adrian Granados is a solid fighter.
No. Yeah. He's a very good fighter. You're going into the past. Well, which one do you want to bring up of Adrian?
That one French guy or something like that. I can't remember that guy's name. I don't know.
Could be Valakverdiev. Is that who you're talking about?
I can't remember. Yeah, one of the clowns. I don't know. The guy. I think the guy just cut my grass the other day. I think that's that's the guy.
So So this is a real fight, and that's obviously why I actually stated the odds. So Gogue, how do you see this fight playing out? Who wins and why?
Joe, honestly, man, it's a toss-up fight. Both guys are, they're skilled. They're schooled all the way around, from the outside game to the inside game. They can fight in the pocket efficiently. They can fight on the outside efficiently. They're both fundamentally sound. They work their jabs proficiently. They both counter it proficiently at range. Okay, they both throw, very similar combinations to the body and head. Okay, and what else do they do? They're both, well-trained and well-schooled by their coaches. Okay, Joe, what's going to win this fight? Like I always say, when you got a 50-50 fight, I always say the guy with the better footwork, the guy that's more effective, the guy that has better footwork, number one, the guy that has a better effective jab, that's controlling his opponent effectively, that he's hitting his opponent effectively, okay? Because when you got an effective jab and you're controlling your opponent effectively with your jab, guess what, Joe? That's when the combinations land. That's when that right hand lands. That's when the left hook lands, okay? Everything happens off that jab, Joe, everything, okay? From when you're leading with combinations to the counters, to opening up the guy, with combinations and everything, okay? And when you're controlling that guy effectively, when you got the lead, when you got the edge in being more, in control with that jab, hey man, that to me, the percentages are you usually win the fight. Then the last thing is who has a better defense, meaning who's smarter, who doesn't who doesn't make the mental mistakes out there, Joe, in the fight, okay? Usually the mental mistakes are defense, mental mistakes, like you might lunge in, you get hit with an uppercut, you might have your left hand down low when you're getting in range, and that's one thing I noticed about Williams, okay? When he gets into range, his left hand's kind of low. He keeps it kind of, you know what I mean? Like that like a Philadelphia fighter in Charlo. He sees that boy. He hits him with that right hand. He can hurt him. Okay, that's one mistake I've seen that Williams kid make, okay? So his hands got to be, his hands and his chin's got to be tucked. His hands got to be up high, and his chin's got to be tucked down real low, okay? You don't have that chin exposed to these guys. See, Joe, like I said, the footwork, the guy with the more effective jab, consistently during the fight, okay? Round by round by round. And the guy with a better defense, round by round by round during the fight, that gets hit less is going to win this fight. The guy with a better defense is the guy that's making adjustments, the guy that's smarter, okay? And that's going to be the difference in the fight, okay? And I always say, Joe, when you're fighting a 50-50 guy, it's the mental mistakes that are going to lose you the fight. Like my guy the other night, I fought in that Golden Boy show. I talked about it. All we talked about, I said we can't be making these mental mistakes. We can't be making these mental mistakes, which is defense. And he made a mental mistake, and he got caught with the right hand because he lost focus and didn't keep that left hand up, and he got hit with the right hand. And he could have got up and continued, but the referee, he stopped the fight and everything, which I didn't have a problem. But it's those mental mistakes defensively. And the one that makes less mental mistakes is going to win the fight. Now, who's going to win the fight, Joe? That's why it's a 50-50 fight. Head or tails. Head, Julian Williams. Tails, Jermall Charlo. But, the fight's in L.A., so that nobody's going to have that home field advantage, okay? The fight's in L.A. And Jermall, unlike his brother, is physically. He don't mind getting dirty and nasty, okay? His brother's a cutie pie. Jermall. He likes to move and dance around and all that stuff. But Jermall is a physical guy, and that big right hand. And Ronnie, fundamentally sound coach. Everything's off that jab, and he's going to stress that jab in the fight to control Williams, to keep this guy, to keep his aggressiveness at bay, to control, and what do you call it, Joe? Control that rage in him. Okay, a good jab. If a guy is real physical and aggressive, and a good jab can control a guy that's physical and aggressive. You keep putting that jab in his face. Yeah, guess what, Joe? that fire in you starts to sizzle. Okay, and that's what Ronnie's going to do. He's going to control that range and distance with this killer, with that good jab and everything. And if he does get in the pocket, hey, you're going to have to fight this guy off you and everything, Joe. Me, Joe, it's a 50-50 fight, and the one with the less mental mistakes is going to win. Now, Julian Williams, he's been putting a lot of work, not only for this fight, but all his fights, Joe. One thing I noticed about him, between fights, he gets better. Okay, he's always in the gym. He's always studying, to become, what he has to do to become a better fighter. Him and his coach. Okay, they go the extra mile, the extra mile to get, to make sure his fighter gives. To make sure Bredman, for example, he goes the extra mile to make sure his fighter gets every opportunity to win the fight. Okay, he gives him every opportunity in his preparation to win the fight. Excuse me. For this fight, he went out to Vic Conte, and they trained over there under that state-of-the-art gym. The hyperbaric chamber, whatever they have over there, and all that other stuff. The supplements that Vic offers. The guy. Supplements being the vitamins, the pre-workouts, the post-workouts. And all that other stuff to make your body heal faster, like the stuff to help you sleep better and all that stuff. That I'm not really educated in this stuff, but all the little stuff, Joe, he's doing to in his preparation to win this fight. And he's not only done it for this fight, he does it for every fight. Even if they're fighting inferior competition. So his work that he's put in, it just didn't happen for this camp. It's been going on the last 3 years. Now, Charlo, I don't know what kind of work he's been putting in between fights, but I know he knows how to make it rain at the strip clubs, okay, Joe? That's one thing he's getting better at. That's one thing I know he's getting better at is making it rain at the strip clubs, okay? Remember when he won the title, $25,000?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
He was right. He was just as famous as Kanye that night, when he did that.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, He won the IBF junior middleweight title by knocking off the dreaded Cornelius Bundridge.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, Joe, I don't know
what a milestone, what an accomplishment.
Like I said, Joe, a lot of guys get their titles in the Al Heyman era. I'll call them setups. This fight, Julian Williams, he's getting this title fight. It ain't gonna be no Cornelius Bundage. It's a live lion in Charlo. Okay.
So it's funny, Gogue, because you hear Coach Ronnie, right? And I'll be publishing my interview with Ronnie very, very soon. But Coach Ronnie told me, he said, you know what? Look, who has J-Rock faced? He's never faced anyone even remotely in the same class as my guy Jermall Charlo, and you're going to see that on Saturday night. I guess what I'm trying to ask you, though, Gogue, aside from Austin Trout, which is a completely different style, right? Who has Jermall actually faced that is in the same class or has the same attributes as Julian Williams?
No one, really, but he's a champion. That makes a difference. He's got the belt, all right? That's the difference. He's a champion. He's got the belt.
So in the main event of the evening, you've got Abner Mares versus Jesus Cuellar. Abner Mares obviously hasn't fought since dropping a decision, a very, very entertaining one, to Leo Santa Cruz last year. All right? Boy, he's got that's a tall order, Gogue. When you have to take on a really good puncher, really hard puncher like Jesus Cuellar. In your first fight back in 15 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty tough, Gogue.
Hey, man. when you're fighting at this level, God dog, what do you expect, man? Cupcakes? Nah, you got to fight, man. You got to fight good, solid competition. And I think Steven Espinoza gets that. He let Al, ruin his network by all those fucking mismatches he's put on the last few years. Now, he's putting his foot down and making these guys fight real fights.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, who do you like? I mean, obviously, do you agree with the betting odds, Gogue? Because obviously, Jesus Cuellar is the favorite, but only by a minus 170. In my opinion, I think this is I think Jesus Cuellar should be listed as at least a 3 or 4 to 1 favorite. To be honest with you, I'm thinking more like 5 or 6. I think Abner Mares is a very, very physically and mentally durable guy. But I don't see him winning this fight. I don't see him winning this fight unless he fights a perfectly executed fight in which he mixes strategies, moves in and out of range proficiently, and frustrates this guy and controls range from mid to long range.
Joe, he's a shot fighter. Joe, he ain't the same, okay? He ain't the same fighter he was.
Yeah.
You could strategy and all that other bullshit. Bottom line is, he the same fighter he was a year or 2 years ago? I don't think he is. That's why that Cuellar guy is a slight favorite. A young, hungry, good puncher, aggressive, physical guy that, he's going to be attacking Mares consistently every round. Fighter after, round after round, to land that big left hand he has. I don't think Cuellar, he's not really, what do you call it? I don't know. His skill level is good, but it ain't great. His athleticism is good, but it ain't great. But he can punch, and he's physical, and he's strong, and he's going to keep putting that. He's going to keep putting that consistent pressure on Abner. Abner's going to have to box and move and counter all night. Okay, and when he gets in the pocket, don't even exchange with him. Abner's going to probably grab and hold him. I think so. But is he going to be able to do that? For 12 rounds? And win these damn rounds, not get hurt by this kid who could punch with that left hand right hook. You know what I mean? Abner's training with Abner's training with Robert Garcia now. This is his first fight with Robert, I think, or I can't remember, second. And Freddie's training. Cuellar is training with Freddie Roach. So Freddie is an aggressive, physical, offensive coach who likes to attack and work angles and stuff like that. And work the jab. So it's gonna be a good little scrap. And I think Mares is gonna be try to box and move and stay to his left, not get hit by that left hand, and pivot around him, counter, fast combinations, and get out of there. Just like I seen him when he fought. God, what's that fighter? I can't remember. I seen him fight where he boxed beautifully, moved in and out of range, countered beautifully.
Talking about Abner Mares. Abner Mares against Joseph Igbeko in the rematch.
Yeah, I think that he looked beautiful, but that was back then, Joe. He ain't the same fighter, from what I see.
No,
I think he slipped a lot. But guess what, Joe? He hasn't fought in a long time, and guess what? Sometimes that long rest reheals you. It helps you recuperate better. Okay, just like Raul Marquez, up there, all those brutal fights he had. He took long layoffs, and he came back, and his body was healed and everything. And I think that might be the case for this Mares guy. Mares kid, he looked like he was getting long in the tube, but he took a long layoff, let his body reheal. Maybe he'll come back rejuvenated, recharged with a new trainer and everything.
Well, he is 31 years of age, and since getting stopped in shocking fashion in the first round back in 2013. He's been 3 of 4. He's 3-1, beating Jonathan Akendo, beating Jose Ramirez, beating Arturo Reyes, and dropping a majority decision to Leo Santa Cruz. Well, it's going to be interesting. And once again, we mentioned the rematch against Joseph Igbeko, which was very impressive at the Honda Center where the Anaheim Ducks play. That was in 2011, Gogue. So you're absolutely right. So who wins this fight, Gogue? What's your prediction for this one, buddy?
Honestly, Joe, I haven't studied it like who would win or lose, but betting odds say that Cuellar is a favorite, I always go with the betting odds. You know what I mean? I always take the younger guy against the more older, established but older champion that's not in his prime. Yeah, so I got to go with Mbeko. Decision.
No. You mean Jesus Cuellar? Yeah.
What am I talking about? Yeah.
No,
yeah,
that's
Mbeko,
all right.
Cuellar, yeah.
So who do you like in this fight, Gogue?
I got to go with Cuellar. Younger, stronger, more youthful champion. Hey, Joe, this is a young man's sport. And, the older you get, you're not the same when you were, you don't have that same energy, that same spunk when you're younger, okay? And that's why I'm going with Mbeko to win this fight. As long as he applies physical, intelligent pressure and consistently and presses the action on this guy and lands that big left hand with the right hooks to the body, head, yeah, he'll be fine. I think I got to go with the betting odds with they say with
Jesus Cuellar.
Cuellar, yeah. I'm sorry, Joe. These guys.
It's all right.
It's
all right, brother. It's all right. It's all right,
you know why,
man.
Joe?
Let's move on.
Joe, you know why I can't remember their names? Because there's so many fucking champions out there, man. All right? You don't know who the hell's champion. All right? If there was one damn champion, Vasily Lomachenko, I know who the hell the best guy in the weight division is. But boxing, the way it is nowadays, they got 4 different organizations with 5 different champions in each weight division. That's why I don't remember half these fucking guys' names. What belt is this for? The WBA? What is it?
Regular championship. Yep.
Okay, you see what I mean? I don't even try to remember these clowns' names nowadays. There's so many fucking belts out there. That's why I don't remember half these guys' names.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, I'll give you one more opportunity to make a prediction on the Julian Williams against the IBF junior middleweight champion, Jermall Charlo.
Oh,
because when I asked you before, you pretty much said it was a coin flip, and it's a toss-up, that it's a push. So do you want to make a bold prediction, or may the best man win?
Joe, I studied this fight, boy, and I studied this fight. Man, here's what my gut feeling says. The work that Julian Williams has put in the last few years, man, it's gonna, hey, it's karma. You reap what you sow. Okay, Joe?
Very
That's
good.
The probabilities go up that you're going to be successful. Okay? One second, Joe. Joe, let me finish. The probabilities that you put, I've been in this. The people that put in the work through the years, that make the sacrifices, okay, that don't take shortcuts, that live that straight life, narrow life of a professional fighter, truly dedicated and hungry and committed. Charlo, I don't know what kind of work he's been putting in the last few years. I know he's been, improving his skills and making it rain. Okay. You know what I'm going to call him, Joe? You know what I'm going to call him? Jermall, make it rain Charlo. Not no more Jermall Iron Man Charlo. Okay? Make it rain Charlo. Yeah.
No. So once again, Gogue, is it a knockout? Is it a decision? What? Or are you just picking a Williams victory?
Man, then here's what I see about Williams. God dog, man, you can hit him with that right hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes he gets a lot of lax, and Charlo, boy, hit that big right hand will hurt you. Now, if he gets hit by that right hand, this kid, Joe, he's got the conditioning, and I think he's got the mental toughness to withstand that right hand. Make the remember I said, Joe, mental mistakes is going to cost you the fight. You got to make those defensive adjustments, and I think this kid will make those mental defensive adjustments during the fight. You know what, Joe? I'm going on my edge. I'm going to go for Charlo. I mean, not Charlo, Williams.
Oh my gosh, Gogue, make up your mind, brother.
Instincts, Joe. This kid has ability. Joe, I'm going by, like I said, the body of work. I'm going by the body of work this kid put in the last 2 years. I'm a big believer, Joe.
Well,
Joe, I'm a big believer in karma, in being a professional, in the dedication, commitment, and the work you put in. Not for this fight, but the whole last 3 years. To me, the probabilities go up that you're going to be successful. That's why I'm going with that. I love 50-50 fights, Joe. You know, they really get me excited. They get me excited.
Yeah,
they get me curious
that's
to watch.
Absolutely, Gogue, and that's what fight fans have been clamoring for. A matchup in which we have no idea who's going to win. Realistically, I mean, you see guys like you and I, Gogue, guys who are experts in the field, right? Who have no idea who's going to win this. This is a toss-up. This is, I mean, flip a coin, guys. This is what makes, these are the matchups that fight fans want to see. So credit to Richard Schaefer and Showtime for putting this together. But I'll tell you what, Gogue, guys, also, don't forget, next week, we are going to do part 1 of our installment of Gogue's year-end awards, the Gogue Awards. This is our 5th year doing this. Gogue, can you believe this is our 5th year doing the Gogue Awards?
Oh, time flies by. Time flies by.
Well, I tell you what, so we're going to hear the 2016 Gogue Awards, Gogue's best and worst of this year.
More worse,
well, I tell you what,
worse than best.
So, guys, thank you so much. Guys, huge thank you to the insight and the expertise of our very good friend, 3-decade fight trainer, the one and only Mr. James Gogue. And, guys, don't forget, you've been listening to World Week Radio on YouTube. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to World Week Radio on YouTube.